Hey there team, welcome back to another episode of House of Plants. In today's episode, I'm going to be planting kale, an extremely healthy and nutritious plant. Now this specific variety that I'm going to be planting is called red Russian kale. It is primarily grown for the foliage. The leaves have this curly serration and the stems are purple. The growing difficulty of this plant is easy. The plant produces for a long time and grows vigorously, making it great for beginner gardeners. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the beginning growing phase of kale. This kale is 5 days old. If you take a look at the characteristics of this adolescent kale, you will see the plants are dark green in color and the shape resembles that of a 4-leaf clover. This second dish contains older kale that is approximately 10 days old. Notice how high the stems have stretched, bigger cotyledon leaves, and the purple coloring in the base of the stems. This third peachy dish contains kale that's about 4 weeks old. The true leaves have emerged and their serrated fan-like leaves make an appearance. Now these are in rough shape because I had forgotten about them for a few days, but I think they are salvageable. So these adolescent stages are what to expect when growing red Russian kale. Moving on, in front of me I have my square container and I'm going to start by filling it up about 3/4 of the way. Make sure to use high quality soil that looks dark and rich with a medium density, so that the roots are not impaired and the drainage isn't an issue. Next, I'm going to be grabbing some kale. And instead of planting one, make 2 holes diagonally across from each other and double plant to try and maximize my kale foliage production. While doing the planting, the goal is to handle the plant carefully and cause as little agitation as possible. Now that all the kale is planted, they need a watering. With one hand I secure the plant in place, and with the other I pour the water to hydrate the soil. The water being used has been adjusted to have a pH of 6.3. And that about does it. The only thing left is to sit back and watch the kale grow. Make sure to only re-water once the soil is dried up a good bit. The kale planting didn't take long at all, and I expect to be harvesting this kale for years. In front of me I have a kale plant that is about a year old and has developed a very long stem where you can see the pattern recognition of all the leaf breakpoints from harvesting. Thanks for joining me. I hope you learned a little bit about kale and its growing process. See you on another episode of House of Plants.